Good Sunday afternoon. This is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. I really just want to do a quick video because I haven't done anything for you in a little while as far as any kind of videos. This isn't going to be too detailed, but I'm going to try to start getting back into doing a little more analysis for you. I've just been so busy with work, a lot of overtime, and I just really haven't had time to do what I used to do for you all. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast that'll be coming out here in a little bit. I'll do a static version of it, but um, we've been in a very pleasant weather pattern over the weekend. A little early taste of fall. That's not going to stick around much longer. It's going to become increasingly warm, getting back toward being hot by the end of the week. Humidity will pick up during the week as well, but I will say that it's not going to be nearly the oppressive humidity that we had with the last heat wave, where we had dew points that were between 75 and 80 degrees. The dew points here will be generally less than 70 degrees, so it'll be humid, but it won't be as nasty as this last air mass was. But we're going to watch the end of this week into early next week. If we're going to hit 90 degrees again, it's probably going to occur between Friday and maybe next Tuesday or so. I really think that's going to be our last run at 90 degrees. There will be another warm spell probably the third week of the month, but it's going to be more like, mid to maybe upper 80s kind of warmth. And of course, our average highs are slowly decreasing right now. Our average high is 83, our average low is 64. So, and those will be slowly decreasing. So, what's above average is going to gradually become cooler and cooler. But again, I think will be pleasant tomorrow. Rain chances look pretty minimal. And even tomorrow into Tuesday, there will be some isolated storm chances. So don't be surprised if something does pop up between tomorrow afternoon and Tuesday afternoon. But those chances really are looking pretty limited as we're finally getting into the drier pattern that the upper air pattern changed back in June, and generally that would have translated to the pattern drying out maybe the third week of July, but it's a couple of weeks behind. But we have finally hit a relatively dry pattern, and that does look like it's going to continue for the next 7 to 10 days with just minor rain chances. So I am going to take a look at one other thing for you here. One of the big things that's been kind of showing us what our active pattern has been like is going to be the North Pacific. And we can kind of see this big high pressure right here. This just went through the Aleutians. This when it went through the Aleutians probably foretold our warmer spell at the third week of August. But then behind that, let me zoom in a little bit on the Aleutian Islands, because Indiana would roughly be like right in here, and that varies a little bit with seasons, but you can kind of see that we've got this boundary just kind of hangs out here. The high pressures begin to recede more to the southwest. We got more low pressure hanging up to our north. These cooler spells that have been hitting since the spring have been mostly hitting the eastern U.S., and we've just kind of been on the back side of that. It looks like once we get into the end of this month, I love it when the page just randomly refreshes. At any rate, we saw enough there that it looks like these troughs of low pressure are going to start dropping a little more into the north central U.S. and into the Great Lakes region, and we'll kind of be on that boundary between those. So we might see a little bit of a stormy pattern redevelop, but uh, mostly we're probably going to begin to see a more cool pattern. And this might be one of the cooler falls we've had in a little while. Our falls have been really hot the last few years. I kind of jokingly renamed October Hottober because we've had so many days in the upper 80s and lower 90s the last few years. I don't think that's going to happen again. And the way the pattern's beginning to show itself and some of the upper air things that are showing themselves, some of the things that have occurred, and you can kind of look at Eastern Australia and New Zealand as a bellwether for what our winters will be like. This winter is looking quite a bit different than what we've been having. So, of course, there can always be a wrench into that. But and it's really looking like a much cooler fall than what we've had in a while, and maybe a much different winter than we've had in a while. But that's all still a long way out. The main thing I wanted you to see is just that we've got this warm spell coming at the end of this week. We'll have a cool down right after mid month. We may have one more warm spell, but probably not 90s, but probably mid to upper 80s. There, maybe the third into the fourth week of August. And then after that, it may be straight on to fall. So, of course, even in fall, you might have a random, spot where you have a couple of days to get into the 80s. But I think once we get into late August, early September, we may be looking predominantly at highs in the 70s and maybe even some 60s. So we'll see how that all develops. But I just kind of wanted to just do this video for you just because I haven't done anything for you in a while. So I'll go back one more time here just to look at the 7-day forecast. And again, I'll post the static version of this here in a little bit. So, if you donate to the page, thank you so much for helping support this page financially. If you don't and you can, please check out the pinned posts on the Facebook page and on the X page for all the different ways that you can financially support this page. And I as always, want to thank the sponsors and including our newest sponsor, Elwood Fire Equipment. Happy to have them on board, and our longest term sponsors, Madison County Federal Credit Union, was our very first uh, business sponsor, and they've stayed on board. I thank them very much, and Community Hospital as well. They're our two longest term sponsors. So, but thank you to all of the sponsors. Always check out over on the right side of the forecast for the sponsors of the day, and check them out in the text for most of the forecasts as well, if they can provide any of the services that you might need. So this is Michael Mitchell with Madison County Weather Updates. Enjoy this lovely weather, and be prepared if you're a summer lover for at least one, maybe two more shots of decent summer weather.